What's going on, everybody? I'm Lyndon.
I'm
Amy.
And Debbie.
And this is Coach's Corner, where we help people change their relationship with food and fitness. Do us a favor, if you like what we share, like the video and share it with someone else.
Yeah.
We literally do this for you guys so we can help you reach your own goals. Also, this is our great way to get back to our clients, so that way people really get a feel for what's out there and what they can do for themselves. So today's topic is going to be pretty simple. Again, we are always messing with the format of this because we did it kind of like, let's just get on here and talk about what's happening in space. But I realize, as Amy was talking about before the camera was on, that people are looking for specific things from us, and I want to be able to give them references for their journey, like things they can watch, things they'll be able to do, things of that nature. So I really do want to get into some of the nutritional stuff for people, even if we keep it kind of blanket and give some examples. So today we're going to talk about intuitive eating and emotional eating, just to really give people something to work with. So we should probably cover what the two of them are. I don't have a phone, so if you guys want to look up stuff while we do this, let's start with what most people think they do or don't realize they do, which is emotional eating. Yes.
Feel.
Like everyone knows they eat emotionally to some level, but they don't really realize what that means.
You guys
This one?
did well, and you each did the opposite one. Great job.
Emotional eating is,
You watched it
I
happen.
did.
I'm not even gonna read that one.
Oh,
That ain't it.
Pass.
This one has 10 principles.
Of intuitive eating.
intuitive eating, that's actually smart.
Great.
Also known as stress eating or emotional overeating.
Ooh.
Whoops.
Propensity to eat in response to positive or negative emotions.
So
I like that it says negative or positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually going to say it started with positive. I like the fact that it started with positive because most people do associate it with negative.
Negative, right.
Yeah.
And that's not true. Let's say we just had a member who had a birthday, right? And we brought in cake. I got them 2 cakes because of the simple fact that, number one, they were around and very helpful with my daughter's birth, so I feel the need to celebrate them just for that, but they've been part of our community for a long time as well. So when I got them the 2 cakes, we had one with them and they took one home. Now, here's an example of positive emotional eating. We're all celebrating. It's actually for a good cause. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your help, right? We ate that. Tell me you didn't go have sweet cravings for the next couple days.
Yeah.
Well, I just had a stomach ache.
Still coming off that birthday cake on Sunday, actually.
You get what I'm saying?
So much cake.
Right.
It was like a week of cake.
It's been like 2 weeks. It's like a week and a half.
It has been a lot of cake.
Right?
It's a
It
lot of
has been.
birthdays around
It has
this
been. Yeah, it's insane. So ironically, here's an example of emotional eating, but in a positive light.
Yeah.
Right? And again, stomach ache, sugar cravings like crazy. Yesterday, I felt like I was coming off of something. I was like, all right, let me just.
Yeah.
Yo, I just need a minute,
Yeah.
man. Like it was bad. Like it was bad. I literally had to convince myself not to make the choice of eating something sweet, right? So a lot of people don't think you can get addicted to sugar and things of that nature, but ironically, it's one of the most
Yeah, you
addictive
can.
things that exist.
Substances.
Yeah,
like
it's-
drugs
It's more
included.
addictive
Yeah.
than most
Correct.
drugs.
Yeah.
Correct. So a lot of people don't realize that sugar, if you are struggling with sugar, it makes sense. So a lot of the times we don't, we try in this space to give people a holistic approach that allows them to see the bridge between where they are and where they want to go. And on that bridge, building that bridge looks like having things in place to get you those bricks or those boards that get you across. So again, understanding emotional eating is the first step, not changing it immediately. So I'm glad that it said positive for sure. Some examples of negative. Anybody else want to give some? Oh,
I'm just gonna go off of that.
Go ahead.
Open forum. I think, in my opinion, a lot of the negative eating feels like built into the system, like systemically accepted, and then a lot of the positive eating is like social systemic. So like, you can even talk about going on vacation. Go on vacation with your girls, with your guys. You're probably not gonna eat what you would normally eat. You know, like your eating changes up. You probably drinking a little bit more.
You know what's crazy? And maybe this is just me thinking about it. I think most people eat better when they leave town. It's very rare that people eat completely, because most go to Jamaica.
Because you're doing
the
stuff.
food is fresh.
Yeah,
no, the
that's
food is
facts.
fresh. It's not sitting in something. There's not a lot of bread. They don't eat that way. Like
It
when you
depends-
go to
it
places,
depends on
they don't.
where you go on vacation.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because
That's
if
a
you're
fair thing
going
to
just
say.
like to spend time with family, I think a lot of the time when I'm spending time with family, I eat pretty bad.
Okay,
but
fair.
that's only because it's not like that vacation outside of my normal life per se. It's just spending time with people, and then I end up eating what they're eating.
Right.
You know.
Right,
And
right. Yeah, I think it does matter. I also do think where you eat matter, how you eat matters, stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, I definitely get around. I have family members who don't take it seriously, right? That's a topic in and of itself. But there's a lot of, like when we talk about diabetes and things in the BIPOC spaces, again, I've been telling people for years that we are susceptible, but like if you're struggling with it in your family, the first thing you do look at is how you eat food, what you season, how you season, what you do with it. And again, a lot of the times you can go right in. Shout outs to Mom. She just made us some, what'd you call them, party potatoes?
party
Oh,
potatoes.
yeah.
And I was like, I forgot what those were. So I took them home thinking I had to bake them in a tray. Like I had to
did?
put them in the oven and like cook them again, right?
What'd you
And
do?
I didn't touch them.
Okay.
I didn't touch them. You didn't have to.
Yeah,
You can,
you
but you
could.
don't have to,
Yeah, I
right?
did.
And that's the whole thing. They can be eaten as is, or you can use them to cook down, grilled and brown, blah 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 blah. But I saw them and I was like, I haven't seen this since I was like 8, right? And that just tells you how different I used to eat versus how we eat now. And again, I'm not gonna say my family doesn't eat out occasionally and eat some bread and stuff like that. It's more about just how vastly different we look at food in my home versus where I grew up.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting setup, interesting catch.
For sure.
So
I think that you were talking about negative.
yeah, the negative side of emotional eating.
I was
think,
definitely gonna
is-
bring that up next. Yes.
Yeah.
is the at least for me, I'd say like those times where I feel depressed.
I think that's the biggest one for sure.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know if this is a chicken egg situation, but like
Wow.
when I find myself in that depressive state, I tend to stay inside, not get out, and eat horrible. You know, I eat sugar. I think I eat a lot of bread, which breaks down into sugar at the end of the day.
Right.
So really, it's just sugar that my body's like, I don't know, should be. I'm craving it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an emotional craving.
I would say when I feel bad, I treat myself poorly, right? And when I feel bad and I treat myself poorly,
Then you feel worse.
that's the perpetual thing. Like that's the keeping the wheel turning, all right? You have to make a conscious decision to change in spite of how I feel.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm dealing with a lot of lethargy, because I've been eating a lot of sugar, and everything breaks down into glucose, right? So if I feel lethargic because I've been eating a lot of things that turn into, let's say, fast burning sugars, right? If I eat a lot of things that are like that, then that's going to make me feel depressed. Examples are, like you said, bread, cakes, dairy products are on the list too. There are some that aren't, but for the most part, what most people consume is. And a lot of that stuff is just, again, America loves their flavor, man. So a lot of that stuff is very quick to burn in your system, but even quicker to stick to your gut, right? So a lot of that stuff that we do eat in those moments actually makes it worse. And there are plenty of studies out there that show, especially since COVID, we are dealing with more depression than ever when it comes to homes. The seasons have been darker, the light days have been shorter. So it makes sense that a lot of people are struggling. But I would say, there's a lot of hope, but ironically, like this is gonna sound messed up to people who don't understand it, but you gotta get out your feelings, right? Your decisions and your feelings, they can be together, but there's a lot of times where when you're trying to do something different, you have to remove how you feel from it in order to make the choice you know you need to make.
For sure.
My dad used to say, if you look back a year from now and you were able to talk to yourself, would you make the same choice? And that made me start thinking about my decisions a little differently, right? Like if I'm struggling, I'm putting on weight, and I go for a year from now, and I'm looking at myself And I say, like, if I was to look at myself last year, I ran the Lilac Festival, Lilac Run, right? Could the guy who ran the Lilac Run be eating like today? Could I do that, right? Because we're going to do it again. And what would that person tell me? They would tell me about the importance of discipline, right? So it's outside of how I feel. It's not how I feel. It's outside of it that allows me to make a better choice. And I think that's important for anybody who's watching, who's trying to make that change.
I think that because when I start eating bad, like I notice, like, and we were talking about this when we came back from the trip, and then I wasn't prepared for the next week, so then I'm eating out more during the week, but like that brain gut connection, right? I think that's what compounds it a lot of the time is, right? I've got my gut that's literally craving sugar, right? My gut's like, hey, it's trying to make all the choices, but I also recognize that like my mind is shit, you know, like I feel bad, I feel depressed, I can't like function cognitively, I'm like slower, you know, and I think that's where it is this cycle where it's like, all right, well, I gotta like feel good enough to like go prep some food, you know, but what's the easier solution? I feel like shit. My stomach feels like shit, and I don't feel like getting up and doing what I maybe should do, you know, taking that time to prep that food, and like what's making choices now? My stomach is making choices because, you know, my gut biome's totally off, and there's just sugar in there that's fiending for more sugar, and I think that can be the biggest hurdle, you know, like changing that mindset. It's like my feelings and my decisions here, I got to break away and be like, I know that if I continue to do this, now it's my fault. Like I'm perpetuating this entire cycle.
Fair. I do think that in space we provide a good counsel of that, like letting people know, like, you know, again, the name of the space is Getting It Daily. So a lot of people will come in and they'll be like, you guys do this every day? And we're just like, yeah. In some way, shape, or form, I'm getting up and I'm moving my body in every single day. I mean, you are too, just not at the level I'm doing it if you really think about it. And that helps people turn the gears. I feel like in this current generation, nutrition in and of itself has taken such a back seat. And what I mean by that is, like, we're going to talk about intuitive eating next, is that most people don't know how to eat for what they actually want. Most people are just eating. Again, I came from poverty. I get it, right? There's choices you were making when you didn't have, and now you're looking at your abundance of choice and still making choices like you don't have, and that is a problem, right? How do I move forward if I'm still moving like I don't have, right? Unless it's for the benefit of future self. So a lot of that space becomes the problem. So watching people be depressed, like, I get it. I get it, right? I do more than most people. But at the same time, I would love to say, like you said, perpetuating the cycle is the problem, not having a pattern, but keeping the pattern going. So if you are struggling, again, hire a coach, man. Get to a space where people are in a better position for you and want to listen to you and want to sit with you. I have so many examples of that from the last week or two of people just coming to me and be like, it's terrible. And I'm just like, well, I hear you. And I'm just like, but let's make better choices. And they're just like, you don't know. I'm like, all right, let's go through a list of all the things that have happened to me within the last 30 days. And they're like, wow. Why are you not sitting at home? I'm like, because it wouldn't make me feel any better. I couldn't be there for my kids if I was jacked up. I couldn't be here for this community if I was jacked up. My responsibilities become part of the reason why it's easier for me to show up. But I have to be a person that is in the position to be responsible. It takes time. It's not something you just show up one day. For me, having kids did help, for sure. Little people who have no agency definitely made it easier to like what would LJ want me to do here, right? There's been plenty of times where I've had to speak to myself about who I want my son to view me as, because I could make a bad choice, right? Like we were talking off camera about my yesterday situation. Old me would have handled that a lot differently, right? Old me would have went out there and made it worse, for sure. And I just laugh now because you know for a fact that when you are different, it's like a snapshot view. You get what I'm saying? You take the picture and you're like, damn, that's stupid. Right? Like that could have been way worse because of my attitude. Not because of what was actually happening, but because of my attitude. So again, reach out, man. Get some help. Get somebody who holds you accountable and really wants to see you be better. We were talking about doing it in a positive light too, which is big, but that's like overall healing stuff. So I don't want to get too much into that. That could take a long time. Intuitive eating. All right. Did you have
Maestro. All right, I did like the principles, but a basic definition is a non-dieting approach to changing your eating habits.
Solid.
But I do like this 10 principles. Y'all want to hear them?
Can we, first of all, no, I want to hear them, but intuitive eating in and of itself is making choices based on what though? Because that's missed out, right? Like, it's like, well, I feel like eating cupcakes.
On what your body
That's
needs.
intuitive, right? Because that is intuitive.
What your
Trusting
body
your
needs.
body.
Bro,
to make
there's,
food
yes,
choices.
there is trusting your body to make choices, yes. Can you, you want to go over the
I have a
principles?
lot of thoughts about all this. All right, so
I have a lot of thoughts
I do.
about all
In
this.
2 minutes. All right.
In 42 minutes?
4-2. There's 2 minutes.
It's 42.
You know, I don't know why.
The answer.
Yo,
Answered well.
we got jokes there. All right, that feel good for you without judging yourself or the influence of diet culture.
Is that
I
one?
actually-
Is that one? Because you just like read it.
No,
and it was
no.
low.
That's
Okay.
the actual definition. I actually remember hearing about intuitive eating when I was like going to nutritionists and trying to solve my own issues with food. I think that could go a great way or a terrible way from what I
I think it goes shitty for most
remember
people.
learning about it. Yeah.
I think it goes extremely terrible for the average person.
Because of addiction.
yeah.
It's because of where they
well,
already are.
Yeah.
You can't make a choice from a bad
Well, the
space and
signals
expect it
are
to
off.
be
Yeah,
good.
how are you going to hear your
it's
body?
It's not even signals. It's actually being in a bad position.
Well, yeah.
Right? It's not signals. We're not going to confuse it. We're not doing that here. It's not signals. You're in a bad space. You're making decisions from a bad space. You're trusting your mind that's in a bad space.
Right.
It's that simple. There's no signals involved in that thing. If you're depressed and you make choices to eat intuitively, you're going to make choices that keep you depressed. That's literally the connection.
Right.
So that's why I'm bringing it up. You were covering the principles.
Yeah, I just want to add that a lot of like the messaging there too is like you're supposed to just trust your body, but then some of the messaging, like literature that I read about it, was like just eat everything that you want to eat. Nothing's off limits. Like to what you're saying also, and that I think is terrible messaging. That piece is like, yeah, just eat whatever. Nothing's off limits. Do whatever you want. And then a lot of people, like, if you follow people or lift people up and they're doing intuitive eating, they don't look great because they just never get out of this. They're like, eat that. It's like, remember back in the day, people be like, smoke a pack of cigarettes, you'll never want to smoke them again, like to scare kids out of smoking. It feel like that about food though. Like, just eat 12 donuts. You'll feel so sick, you'll never want a donut again. I think it's just like,
Only if you're in a space
Ridiculous.
of not eating donuts.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's a
that's
lot
the
of donuts.
cigarettes make sense because you're a non-smoker
Yeah.
who picks up a pack of smokes
Yeah.
and you smoke the whole
24.
pack.
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense because that would
everybody gotta
make you
eat.
literally sick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Eating 12 donuts if you just ate 3 the other day wouldn't phase
Yeah,
you.
you're right.
You'd be like, I feel a little sluggish, but that's why I said it's about where you are. So you should only be intuitive eating if your body is already in a position to make those choices. If sugar makes you nauseous, sick, damn it,
Lethargic.
not
Inflamed.
lethargic, not inflamed would work, but it's not the word I'm looking for. It causes you to literally be backed up. Like that's what,
Constipated.
like yeah. Well, constipated is a word you could use, right? And what I'm saying is like if you're in that space, like your choices. Let's say you did a diet for 30 days, then you tried to intuitive eat. Your body would respond for real. Like then it would be like, oh yeah, no, we don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what would happen. But that's what I'm saying. Most spaces aren't covering that when it
Yeah.
comes to it. They're like, yeah, eat what you want. That okay, except you're depressed. Like except you're anxious.
Yeah.
Except you're sad. Right? Like, and again, how many people can accept that when they're making their choices?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
right.
You know who put it well?
Nope.
Shout outs. He said this months ago, maybe a year ago. Junior said that your first brain is your gut. Your second brain is your head. And I've been thinking about that for a long time because I think a lot of people use this brain to eat when really you want to give your gut what it's supposed to have.
I think
so
it's the
that-
opposite.
That's Junior said. This is where
But
this is the first brain. Yeah.
Junior's vegan.
Yeah. Facts.
So, and I'm talking about like healthy vegan. So again, if the gut's lined up, sure,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
like that
Then you
makes
can
sense.
trust it, right?
Yes, that's the thing. You can't trust it when your diet is terrible.
And that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay, I get
I'm
you.
saying I started thinking of it that way.
Yeah.
Like I can't trust how I'm eating based off of this.
Okay.
I need
Okay.
to give this what it needs so that this turns on and starts giving me those signals
Right.
that of what's right for it.
Yeah.
So then this lines up with this.
Go ahead.
I think people have it backwards.
It's round robin, bruh.
I
Speak.
know. It's hard for me to do that.
To jump in.
I just like never know when it's a me problem.
Just be like.
Hey!
Hey.
Well, yeah.
I just
feel,
saw some shit with some principles. Had to bring it up. This shit is just my time. I gotta talk about.
Hey, that's a big extra plug.
Go ahead.
That was a lot. That always makes me distracted. I'm not- Conversations. I think this topic can be like really complicated, really simple. I have definitely like had my own struggles with food, so like I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking about people I've seen like very much addicted to sugar, usually addict people who then like transfer it over because they're sober. That's really interesting. But I think for me, like especially coming here and having that, like kind of what you're talking about, or intuitive eating, why that doesn't work, is because like if you have yo-yo dieted or like not really trained your body to respond to hunger cues, there is a time where you have to be hungry and not eat because your body doesn't know what the fuck you're doing.
Or the opposite if you're on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, eat when you're not hungry,
I-
which I've experienced both of those things. Yeah, you
I gotta
definitely.
eat every day when I'm not hungry. I'm like,
Yeah, it's annoying, right? Like when you get into that mindset. So
I don't-
either way,
is it annoying?
to have to eat when you like aren't accustomed.
It feels a little-
Is it annoying?
Yes.
It feels a little
Is it
annoying, bro.
annoying? Okay.
You've seen me
okay.
be
Hold
annoyed
on.
to be
Hold
like,
on.
you have to
I just
eat.
want you to.
Like,
I want you to
ugh,
realize that the
it's
two
annoying.
people who like eat a lot and make their own food are like, because again, it's actually a perspective. Perspective matters, right? Performance is affected by your gut.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Because in order for me to do the things that make me who I am, if I'm running, jumping, training, doing things, taking care of my kids, lethargy kills all of that. My lifestyle takes a hit.
Right.
Okay, I know we saying right, but stay with me, please. Because if your lifestyle takes a hit, then intuitively, you would be like, I need to make different choices. So again, intuitive eating can work in either space, but I am telling you that most people need to take a diet first to be in a position to talk about intuitive eating for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was getting
So,
at.
so hold on. With it being annoying, I'm serious. It's not, when it's in purpose, it's not that annoying. What's the purpose? Look at the purpose, put the purpose down, and then make your choice. For instance, I'm not happy about stuffing my face, which is what you guys are talking about. But if I took the time, okay, please enlighten me. You don't want, no, you said that's not it. What are you talking about?
I was just,
I'm just doing what you did.
so rude.
Go.
As an LJ.
It is. That is the LJ.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm not
keep
talking
going.
about stuffing your face versus like starving yourself.
You're missing what I mean by stuffing your face,
Well,
but
then
I understand the
please
response.
continue.
No, it's cool.
I didn't interrupt
You
you.
should expand on it. Like, expand on it. Because
Oh.
the wording I said, you've experienced the thing. The wording I use might be triggering for somebody else too. So it's okay. What were you saying about it?
I was just talking about how your hunger cues get messed up and how you can't really trust them. It's to what you're saying, like do a diet first and then you could trust yourself. But I've definitely been through some iterations of that. And then I've also had periods like when like 6 months ago, I didn't want to eat at all. And then I had to like retrain that side of it. Like I've been on both sides of it
Yeah.
where food feels weird and it feels annoying. Yeah, of course, if you think about your purpose and fueling yourself, I don't feel as strong right now, like feeling kind of tubby like, I don't feel like I'm crushing it, and that is motivation, right? Like to get back on track. But I think if you don't necessarily, if you're not there even yet, I think it feels annoying. It feels
Okay.
like you're not really taking care of yourself,
I hear
not
you.
treating yourself the way you want.
Sure. So what I'm referring to when I say stuffing face is like, this is what I mean by most people need to take a diet in the first place to even know where they're at, right? For instance, I'm 200 pounds, right? I'm a 200 pound guy. And if I wanted to, let's say I wanted this to be more muscle. Let's say I'm 25% body fat, wanted it to be closer to 20. The only way I know if it's like call it tedious, makes sense. Annoying, not really, I'm making the choice. This is what I'm talking about, right? Words matter. If we're talking about the things in reverse, I don't want to eat the next thing of chicken because I know I'm supposed to eat this goddamn chicken. But I also understand that if I don't eat this chicken, then I'm gonna have trouble dropping to what I want to drop to. This is why I said before intuitive eating, most people should follow some type of diet. 30 to 90 days makes sense. You could go whole foods and just eat whole foods. I am not saying go to a caloric restrictive diet, but here's the interesting part. When people make choices, like let's say someone goes whole food, let's use someone who eats cakes and different things, let's use someone who's addicted to sugar, just addicted, right? Have them eat whole foods with no exception, not the, well, you can have a little bit of sugar here because that actually becomes the problem. Again, if you're an addict, you're more like all in or nothing, right? Okay, so we're talking about it like it's an addiction, right? That's why I said stay with me when I'm talking about this. If it's an addiction, annoying isn't really annoying, it's just misplaced. Do you get what I'm saying? Most people don't really realize what they're doing it for, which is the problem. So, you see me do this. Someone comes in, I'm gonna use you as a semi-example.
I was just gonna say, you literally
Sure.
had me do what you just
Sure,
said.
not necessarily, but yes. But and I actually made it more simple for you because of it. So people come in with their triggers and their things, and they're stuck. So stuck, if I reinforce their mindset, usually keeps them stuck. Ironically, it's doing the opposite. So think about it. You were like, it's a trigger. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like literally, that was how you came. You came in like, I don't want to touch it, right?
Like talk about food at all?
Yeah, that's how you came in. You were like, no one can help me. This is a problem that doesn't work. I've tried everything. And I was like, cool. And I said, do you have a nutritionist? You were like, yeah. I said, if I can get you to lose weight, you have to fire your nutritionist. And like most people are like,
I was like, good luck, buddy.
she
And I laughed at you.
said, I'd like to see you try, right? Just like no bullshit, right?
And
I
it's
said,
been a couple
cool.
years of madness.
Yeah, I said, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's what I'm saying. You came in with your triggers and your things. Yeah. So I said, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna focus on a gallon of water. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. No change in diet. Just focus on water, right? It's just like you ever seen the meme? Go ahead.
No.
You ever seen the meme that talks about water in general? They'd be like, you know what, if you a nosy person, drink more water because you'd be too busy running to the bath and be other people's business. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to food and stuff too, right? Again, I'm addicted. I switched to whole foods. I have no idea what my body feels like. So at first I'm like, this is so little, I gotta eat more. This is too much. Why am I eating all these greens? Of course you're annoyed, but really you're confused. You have no idea what your signals are. Do you get what I'm saying? Your anger is your gut being like, you're changing things, don't like it, right? Like it's trying to change over how it digests the things you're giving it. Your body is not reacting angrily. You're associating reaction with anger. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the opposite. So, and again, most people are going to think the exact same thing. They're gonna come in, yeah, I don't really like changing my diet. It makes me feel like shit. How? What? Like that's and again, that should be something that we talk about. So I'm not saying you don't have feelings about what happens, but scientifically, there's a reaction and then there's a response. The reaction doesn't always deem the response. The reaction's a trigger that deems a response. Again, most people go, unless you know what I'm talking about, that's not gonna make sense to you. But literally, you could have 4 choices in your head for response. You choose one when something happens. Okay, and again, this is why I said this gets like deeper psychologically and all this other stuff. But let's just say in general, again, you should have seen how you came in with it, because if you had seen how you like think about that moment, you literally did this in our first meeting and said, good luck. And I was like, okay, right? And what did I have to do? And people have seen me do this. I will give you your first month free if you follow what I say and it doesn't work. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll do it. Thinking you're gonna get that free month, right? That's because again, the only reason you're following me at that point is you think you're gonna get something for nothing. right? I'm wrong, it's no way, blah, blah, blah. And again, you're gonna try. You've tried everything. That's the wording. And I'm talking about you specifically on that one. You said it. I got years of trauma behind this. I've tried everything, da 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 da. And then literally, water change brought you change. We could talk about how psychologically, when you started to drink water, you started to feel better and you realized that you didn't need to eat stuff that they were like people around you were eating at the time. So it started to make different choices. You got more active, you start doing more things, along with being more hydrated because you felt better. All of this stuff puts you on top of what it is. And again, now the response changes because you're making different decisions. A win, small as it may be, becomes a positive reinforcement to the choice that you're making, which usually helps you facilitate change. Do you know why most people associate it with being annoyed? Because quite literally, most of the time when people make dieting changes, they make it in this dank ass place where it's really hard to make it. Again, I'm gonna use Devin's analogy. You sit at home all day, right? You sit at home, you play video games, it's like your normal thing to do, right? And then someone's like, hey, you gotta eat food. Well, technically I'm burning no calories, so why do I need to eat? Do you get what I'm saying? What's readily available? Because I just only pause my game to go run to the kitchen and come right back because I don't want to interrupt what I'm doing. What's available? Fast shit, sugars, things you ain't got no business in is usually what's available. Nobody's being like, let me grab all these blackberries and bring them back. It's very rare to see good choices from a space of lethargy, right? So that's what I'm saying. They are connected, truly. Yes? Okay, so in general, if we look at intuitive eating, because we didn't even get into all the rules or the principles, if we look intuitive eating, think about where you are before you try. Try a diet first, 30 to 90 days, then give it a go. And if you do that and you still making bad choices, you'll know. Like, hands down, you'll know. Yeah, my boy's talking about going to get pizza tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna get that. Man, damn, I can't even. I woke up late. Why'd I wake up late? You have a literal hangover from the bad food that you ate. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's a real thing, right? You ever had everyone here has had a sugar hangover in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
It feels way worse than liquor to me. Way worse. I'm like, God damn, my gut about to bust. Let me get up. Like, it feels worse.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So most people, if you eat like trash, don't experience that. That's what I'm saying. They need to be in a better position before that happens. Yeah. I'm not knocking principle, but I'm being cautious about the words we use because people will associate. If you're annoyed, then how many people are making a choice from annoyed space? Not many, right? It's not annoyed. You're annoyed because, sure. But like, it's not, the response isn't annoyed. It's just the response, right? And that's what I just wanted to cover it before we got out of here because I didn't want people to miss that. So in conclusion, I like both. I do. But I like to think that discipline should follow either. Okay? If you're gonna emotionally eat and you have a pretty good eating habit already, then it's not really a big deal. Right? If I eat 7 days a week, there's 7 days in a week, I eat 6 days clean, and I have 1 day of emotional eating, it doesn't ruin my 6 days. Okay? So again, I like to make sure that people understand there's a little bit of discipline. If I decide to intuitively eat, the only way that really works well is if your choices are already pretty good. So you need to be in a space for that to be the case, all right? If you are eating bonbons and Swiss rolls and you decide to intuitive eat, you might just switch to strawberry shortcake rolls and Cap'n Crunch and crazy stuff. I'm serious, more sugar in your diet. Oops, all berries, right? You're gonna switch to some crazy stuff because you're already eating that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that you just follow your gut when you're in a bad position and you make great choices. I can speak on that from a life perspective. How many times you've been in a bad space, your mind said go the bad way, and you said that's a great idea.
Ooh.
Again, think about it, all right? So, again, I like both when discipline is part of that equation. That's it, yes? And I was gonna say, do you want to agree? Because I know we're running out of time. So, okay. All right, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you'd like to check us out or join our community, check us out at www.gettingitdaily.com. Or you can check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We're under the name Getting It Daily on either one, okay? Until next time, I'm Lyndon.
I'm Em.
Amy.
And Debbie.
We're signing off.
Peace.
Peace. I was like, my